2020. What's left, Nick? We've have we had a slow start to the year? Do you think?
It does feel like it a little bit, but I mean, Nintendo for the last 2 years have had a slow start, haven't they? They've never really got going until the middle of the year. I mean, what was it last year? Was New Super Mario Brothers was last year, or was that 2 years ago now?
That might have been 2 years ago. Yoshi's Crafted World came out as well. Definitely last year. Yeah.
It's slow.
Yeah, so this year so far we've had, I'll go through them quickly. January the 3rd was Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training. Then on the 17th it was Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, Least We Forget. Then February the 25th, this is a Sega game, but I think it's a significant one, is 2 Point Hospital. March then we've had 3 games. On the 6th of March we had Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, and one of the biggest games of the year, Doom 64 on the 20th. Then that not very oft talked of game on the 20th of March as well, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which takes us to this month, April. So not much there. In fact, I'll level with you, I haven't picked a game up that's been made in 2020 yet.
Okay. Well, I've got 2 of those games. I've got Doom 64 and Animal Crossing. And actually, looking at that list, the first 3 months, if we only look at the Nintendo games, that's 4 games.
Yeah.
Brain Training, Mirage Sessions, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. It's not a bad variety, actually, of games. There's something there for everybody, really, I would say. I mean, Tokyo Mirage Sessions is a fantastic RPG.
Yeah,
which
I like that one.
I would like to get it on the Switch, ideally physical. I mean, Brain Training has its audience. I don't like it particularly. I do. Do
you know what put me off buying it? Is that I got the Wii U sitting next to my Switch, and I can play it on the Wii U.
There you go then. Yeah,
that's why I didn't pick it up.
Well, actually, looking at that, it's not been too bad, I would say, overall. 4 fairly big games that will... Well, we talked about Animal Crossing already. It's got a huge audience. I think Mirage Sessions is probably the most niche title there, because Pokemon games sell whatever.
And it's been talked, especially Glen I on the forums and a few others. They've been loving Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. So it's done the Pokemon audience well. It's done them well, you know.
Mm-hmm. So I would say I would give that a 6 or 7 out of 10. Certainly better than we've had over the past couple of years. For the first 3 months. Yeah,
3 months and 4 games. That's good. This month, though, there's nothing from Nintendo. April.
That makes sense, though, with Animal Crossing, I would say.
Yes, because, everything needs a break, and people need time to settle down and play it.
We should also include, I would say, personally, we should also include the Ring Fit Adventure update in that.
Yeah,
because that's kind of a whole new mode, really, isn't it? I mean,
yes, yeah. For me myself, if it feels like more of a party game mode that I wouldn't play alone on a regular basis, but as a kind of weekend thing when people come over to visit. Yes, there's something that they could pop on.
Okay.
So in April 23rd, we've already mentioned it, Streets of Rage 4 is coming out. We think of. Then 24th, Trials of Mana, which doesn't interest me. And 28th, this does interest me, but it's a little bit too pricey at $19.99. First of all, away for a sale, is Moving Out, which is that overcooked but moving simulator, which looks a lot of fun, which I played the demo. How does April? How is the rest of April? It is April now. How is the rest of April looking for you, Nick?
I would probably pick up Streets of Rage 4 and Moving Out. I don't know if I'd get either of them at full price. More likely Streets of Rage. But that's, a couple of nice indie games. Kind of, Streets of Rage, maybe it's not really an indie game. But smaller games, let's say, to complement Animal Crossing. That's not too bad.
Now, personally, I can't see Nintendo dropping anything this month.
Oh, no,
so
I don't think
we're going to move on until May. And crazy May, here we go. On the 19th in the US and on the 22nd in the EU, the Wonderful 101 Remaster drops. 26th, Minecraft Dungeons. 29th, is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, BioShock The Collection, there's 3 of them, Borderlands Legendary Collection, there's 3 of them, XCOM 2 Collection, that's everything XCOM had. 29th also is Mr. Driller Drillland, and in spring, so I put it in May because June is turning towards the summer. Summer in Mara should be dropping either late April, I think, or sometime in May. There's a lot going on in there, Nick. Are Nintendo going to throw in another game?
No way. I said it last week. It's unbelievably stupid. Probably from Activision. Oh, sorry, not Activision. 2K.
2K.
Yeah, because firstly they're releasing 3 games on the same day, and secondly they're releasing them on a day when there are other big releases like Minecraft Dungeons and Xenoblade. And Nintendo gamers, Nintendo fans, I would say, are much more likely to pick up Minecraft and Xenoblade than any of those Activision games. So it just
2K.
It's 2K, sorry. So it just seems it seems a little bit bizarre why they decided to release them on that.
Yeah, I said I'm really excited for those 2K games, but not at full price.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be waiting on those anyway. Yeah,
but I mean, sorry.
Go, carry on. I was going to say, out of all of them, I'd probably the only game I'd pay full price for straight away, and it's because of the interest of my son, is Minecraft Dungeons.
Yeah, I think that looks alright, Minecraft Dungeons. But do you not think that paying full price for 3 games remastered is too much, or? No,
not really. If you're looking at £60, it's got 3 remastered games, so you're paying £20 a game, then that sounds perfectly reasonable to me. But I know that if I buy one of those, BioShock, Borderlands, or XCOM, probably XCOM first, it will be at retail. And if I buy it physical, if I wait a couple of months, it's got a good chance of dropping down a couple of pounds. So I could even save a bit further, So
yeah,
we'll see.
Okay. Busy month though, isn't it?
I'm still working through my backlog.
Out of all of those, I'll probably only pick up Xenoblade because I really want to play.
You are going to go for Xenoblade.
I want to play through it now because I haven't played through it before, and the HD remaster looks amazing. And then the second on the list would probably be the Wonderful 101. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to get that physical, but I'm going to wait until it's a bit cheaper. And then
Is that a game you played on Wii U?
It's a game that I've got and have never played on Wii U. But I figure if I've got it on the Switch, it'll actually make me play it. I could just wait, to be honest. I could just play it through on the Wii U. Like, it's set up in my room as well, so I don't know why. Probably I would get Minecraft Dungeons before the other games as well, because, as I said before, I've got a couple of them on PC, and XCOM is much cheaper on PC, so I don't know. We'll see.
On to June. Now, June is... I don't know if Nintendo will do anything extra because we know a few things of June. And on the 5th, The Outer Worlds has been dated to be coming. On the 5th also, we got the Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, which out of all of us 3, me, you and Greg, I think I'm the only one that would ever pick that up. Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion is also coming out in June with no date yet. That's the Isle of Armor one. On the 9th, E3 would have started, so maybe we can have a little E3 discussion now. Burnout Paradise is supposed to be coming digitally. Don't know if it's physically, they haven't said that, but what date, we don't know either. And the Smash Brothers DLC will be outed, the new ARMS character, and will not just be outed, but will also be released in June. Anything else coming in June, Nick?
I think that's when we're going to definitely hear about the quarter 2 and quarter 3, quarter 4 games. Although, I don't know which ones, to be honest. I imagine Nintendo will have some kind of E3 event, probably a 40-45 minute direct. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Metroid and Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. But I think neither of them are releasing this physical year.
I've written that down as well. I think that Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4 will be not delayed, but, say coming in 2021. We'll have a 2021 date for them. So
that basically leaves the question of what's the big Christmas game or Christmas games on the Switch for 2020.
Yeah, and I won't say yet. As we go through the months now, down to December, I'll do it that way. Okay, unless you want to out some now.
Yes, I think in June.
This is a kind of watch the direct coming out now. What's coming
For the 4th E3 in a row. Can you guess what it is? We've said it every single E3. It's coming.
Metroid Prime Trilogy HD.
Exactly. Maybe now we'll finally get it. Like
if they show Metroid Prime 4, there's a good chance
and
that could happen. Yes.
I think the last time that I claimed Metroid Prime Trilogy HD would come out was last E3. And then I went off the idea completely, and I thought, nah, it's crazy. It's definitely not going to happen. When they had subsequent directs. And for some reason now I've gone 180 again the other way, and I'm thinking, yeah, Metroid Prime's dropping.
I'm staying on the side of caution and
still no, yeah.
Maybe later on here, but then they're not going to show it in June. No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough.
Sad. My year is quite sad. On to July, and we've got the games we know about is on the 7th of July. Catherine Full Body is coming out. Final Fantasy. Oh, this is my. Oh, I just dropped one of mine. Sorry, that's all we know.
That's all that's confirmed for July, really? Only one
that's
game.
all. Yep, just that. Catherine Full Body, and that's a US date as well. We don't know the European date.
I would imagine the same.
Yes, I would too. So July is sparse because we're obviously waiting until that June E3 Nintendo digital event.
Mm-hmm.
Anything Nintendo going to drop in July, Nick?
I doubt it. It's the height of summer. And I think as well, one thing we should say about this year is it depends how severely affected by coronavirus everything is. Because, anything could happen. If supply chains are disrupted, then we already said that Zero has closed down in Japan, so...
It would have a massive... Zero as well would have a massive effect on the eShop as well, because all titles have to be rated on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying, but it would have a massive effect as well, the coronavirus could, on the physical copies.
Yeah.
So the kind of thing that I'm thinking could be dropped in July is some Super Mario Maker 2 paid DLC.
Paid DLC?
Yes.
Why
They're going to put themes like Super Mario Land, Super Mario Brothers 2, and... what I would personally like to see, but I probably wouldn't pay for, I'd like to see a Super Mario Maker 2 themed around the Paper Mario style.
Mm-hmm. So like an RPG creator kind of thing?
Or
you mean just the art style would be?
Just the art style, yes. They could add in some slight RPG as you jump on in a kind of action-based one, but nothing to slow the game down from its... movement. So in other words, like maybe a tough Goomba could take 2 jumps to bash instead of 1.
Do you know, I'm not sure about paid DLC for Mario Maker. First of all, I don't think it's sold enough to justify paid DLC. I think they may use free DLC as a way of trying to push more sales. And also, that game was bundled already with an online subscription. So I think how many was it? It was 5 or 6 million that it sold. It wasn't many, was it, compared to other games? It wasn't,
no, not compared to other games, no.
So I'm not sure if they would push paid DLC on that game, personally.
And at that time in July, I can't remember when Super Mario Maker came out, the year subscription will be running out for people
who
did purchase it.
And that's the thing, like, I think that was a good move, putting the online subscription with it. That's the version I bought. And that pushed the price up another $10 or $15 or pounds, depending on where you are. So they've kind of already sold like a deluxe version of that game already. I mean, obviously not everybody bought it, but I think probably it was quite a good deal at the time. So I think a few people probably picked that version up. And in September, it's expiry time, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the people who started from the beginning, so...
Yeah, we'll be talking about September. Now, I also think that in July, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition, which has been delayed, I think that's a good time to drop it.
Yeah.
Middle of summer. It's got, I don't know why, it feels like a summer game for me.
I think it's a good shout. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out into June, July, August, around summer, yeah.
Because then I think after that July, things are going to start getting a little bit busier. So we go into August. And the 2 games we know about so far, and I've bundled these into August because it's at the end of summer. These are both summer games from the the Nintendo Indie World Direct, was Blue Fire and The Last Campfire. They are touted as summer games. Those 2 stuck out for me. And there's nothing else we know of in August. What is there anything that from like E3 that Nintendo could have announced that they'd be ready to release in August, Nick?
I don't think we'll have a Nintendo game in August. I think September is more likely. But I think August could be a big month for indies. I would like to see Silksong finally released.
Yeah, good.
And I feel that would be sort of some little bit of time after E3. So maybe August. What other big indie games are we waiting for that have been announced? With no
Rogue
date.
Company, which is a first-person shooter from Hi-Rez Studios, but it's more 4v4. There's also, would they call indie Bravely Default 2? Oh, Sports Story. That's the one I'm looking forward to. That's Axiom Verge 2 as well.
I think Axiom Verge 2 was already confirmed for August, wasn't it?
Ooh,
or is
I didn't know it had a date.
Or is it just late 2020?
I thought it was late 2020, yes. It might have had a date subsequently, but I can't think of it.
Sports Story will likely release in summer as well. Maybe on or around E3, I would say. Bravely Default 2, given the feedback of the demo, I think that's probably going to be later in the year.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, they need time to implement what people have suggested. For me, though, August, especially 2 months after E3, and I think that we'll see like a blowout of this Super Mario 35th anniversary during that Nintendo Digital event. I think we'll see our first, like I said, maybe some DLC for the Super Mario Maker, and every month now we'll see something Mario related being released. My guess for the August game will be Super Mario Sunshine HD. Not remastered, just better textures and everything else the same.
No sale. In that case.
For me neither. For me neither. On to September. We know nothing. But we do know that, like you said earlier, people who jumped into the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service right at the beginning, September is the month that will start to peter out.
Yep.
So for me, it's got to be Nintendo Switch Online, N64 games, including Super Mario 64 with online co-op. And this is the Mario game for September for me. This will be shown as part of the E3 thing as well. Mario 64 is coming, now playable with, let's say, 4-player online co-op.
Could be. I can't see it though, personally.
No. I hope so.
I'm really torn. I honestly don't think we're going to get N64 games on the Switch Online. I would love to see them, but I don't know why, but part of me thinks it's not going to happen. I think we're more likely to get Game Boy and Game Boy Advance first.
I'd be happy with that.
Which I would be happy with. I mean, N64 would be infinitely better, personally, for me. Very, very keen to play some N64 games again, especially ones that I kind of missed out on. Like, I never played Wave Race and Pilot Wings on the N64. I mean, I've played them briefly in the past, but I never owned them, so I would be really happy to have access to either of those at home. But there's so much missing as well, though, from the N64, because none of the rare games are going to be there, except Donkey Kong, which, as I said last week, I've got no desire to play through again.
My son wants to play through it.
Does he?
I'm looking at emulators on my PC to see if they can get some N64 games on there for him. But I might actually buy it on the Wii U for him if in September they don't drop the N64 emulator on the Switch.
So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't mind playing the 2 Zelda games on the big screen again. But I would definitely recommend they use the 3DS version rather than the N60, like the updated graphics, I mean.
which they want. If it's just a normal Nintendo Switch Online N64.
Yeah, that's true, actually. They'll
just drop it straight the N64 ROMs on, won't they?
But yeah, September, I think, sorry, one thing that could happen is we could see our first major release of the year. And it could be either No More Heroes 3 or Bayonetta 3, or what was the other one? There was another big game that's kind of third party.
God and Monsters?
No.
Overwatch 2?
No. Another 3. I'm sure there was another 3 game coming. Was it only Bayonetta and No More Heroes? Possibly.
I have a feeling that those two will get delayed until early 2021.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
I really hope we see both of them this year.
Bayonetta's got more chance, I think, it's had more time in the development oven, but No More Heroes 3, I think that's going to need a lot more time. We shall see, though.
Well, for September, I'll say Bayonetta 3 then, for September.
So my big one was the N64 online for Switch, but also I think you thought it was a bit earlier. Hollow Knight Silksong, I think, will drop during September.
Could be, yeah.
Ready for that autumn vibe. On to October, and like I've said, I'm going on with my Mario predictions, one a month. But we definitely know that in the fall, so I put it in October, could be September, we will be getting the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion, the second part of that pass, the Crown Tundra. Mm-hmm. This month, though, I think finally This Is Pool and This Is Snooker will be coming out, which has been delayed and delayed, and now they've gone silent, and it's got to be coming out this year, and if it is, October would be fine by me. Earlier would be better, of course.
So all the big hits are coming in October then, yeah? This Is Pool, This Is Snooker.
And my big Mario game is Super Mario 3D World Deluxe. This is going to be basically the Wii U port, but with extra bells and whistles, extra levels, extra bits and pieces.
Well, October, I think, is going to be the release of... I know last week I said I don't think it's true, but I'm just going to say it's true now. Super Mario All-Stars 2, which is going to be 64 Sunshine Remastered, Galaxy 1 and 2 upscaled to HD, and a separate release. It's going to be a separate release, Super Mario 3D World Remastered.
All in October.
I think that's all going to come in October. Nintendo usually releases a big game in October or November, so I'm going to say October. And I'm going to say... Because I think Odyssey was October, wasn't it?
Haha, your guess is as good as mine.
Or November, or early November. But it was around that time. It was before Christmas, because Xenoblade was the December game that year.
Yes, it was. I remember Xenoblade being December. Mm-hmm. Yes. I remember it getting delivered in January, 3 weeks after the December. Yeah, it takes 3 weeks to ship over here. Moving on to the end of the year already, November. We know nothing about November. My big November game, and this is, I mean, I see Nintendo, like you say, with the coronavirus and development hell and all that, having problems putting things out. No, maybe September, November, there'll be the second Smash Brothers character revealed.
Really? You think that late it's going to be?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll be impacted, and then we won't see another one until 2021, the third one. And I think, apart from all the Mario games that Nintendo do, we will not see anything else from Nintendo. So the last game from Nintendo in November will be Super Mario Galaxy HD, not including the second one. It'll just be HD on its own.
No sale.
See, when I sat down and wrote this, I'm thinking, they're good games. I've played it. They're going to release it as an individual game. I'm going to be gutted this year. I won't be buying a single Nintendo game according to my list. You're
going to have a Greg year.
Yeah. I'll be happy though, because Doom Eternal will finally drop on November, and so will Sports Story. And those two games will cover me.
Do you think Doom Eternal is going to be that much later than because the PC one's been out already for a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
You think it's...
But they're going to take a while porting this, I think. Yeah.
Possibly. Well, November, I'm going to say No More Heroes 3 then. So I had my Bayonetta in September. No More Heroes can be November. They could change. They could swap around. But yeah, I think we'll have big release, September, one of those two, then a Nintendo game, and then again in November we'll have it. Because, I mean, Nintendo are kind of involved closely with these two games. They are exclusive. So maybe, even though they're not, like, developing them, they probably can...
They'll be pushing them.
Yeah, they can fiddle around with the release schedule, with those games in the release schedule, I would say.
On to December, the last month. And I've only got one thing here. There's nothing that we know of, obviously, because it's too late in the year. Mm-hmm. I've put Axiom Verge 2 to release in December.
And that's going to be your big game?
Yeah, I like the first one. It had problems of most Metroidvanias, and we'll see if Ori and the Blind Forest has problems that I don't like as well. But Axiom Verge 2 is another one I'd like to play.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think December is going to be when Nintendo's unrevealed game from E3 drops.
Which is?
I don't know. I think they're working on something that we don't know about yet, and it's going to come in December. And I think it's not going to be like Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild, sort of, top tier, but there'll be something fairly big, I think, releasing in this year, and I'm going to say in December. And it's
Monolith Soft?
I think it's too early still, because they've got Xenoblade just coming out now in May. So probably a bit longer before we hear from them. Although apparently they have 4 teams, so who knows? I'm sure they're working on Xenoblade 3. Beavering away. But no, I think there's something, maybe, I don't like this term, but B-tier franchise. Not Mario, not Zelda. That's going to come
Not even a Paper Mario?
Possibly could be Paper Mario. But that's not internal Nintendo. I'm thinking there's an internal team working on something that's going to drop in December.
Could they be working on something slightly B tier, as you said? Obviously don't like that term, but to bolster the kind of Nintendo Switch Online service?
Possibly, yeah. I don't know. Like, who knows? I think E3 will reveal more than we expect. And I'm not basing that on anything. It's just, the last 2 years we've not seen much from Nintendo. So then logically there has to be something else apart from just Breath of the Wild 2. Do you know what I mean?
I'm afraid they'll use the coronavirus as an excuse for tearing and holding things back. My kind of ideas was that, Paper Mario will be shown, but it'll be an early 2021 release, and it'll be called something like Cardboard Carnival or something, and it'll look absolutely beautiful, but we'll have to wait for that one.
I think there is a distinct possibility as well, a small, let's say, possibility that Breath of the Wild 2 could launch in December.
Small.
Very, very small, but the engine won't be that different, probably.
So for games that I'm excited, the big kind of ones, I do think the vast majority will be delayed, like No More Heroes 3, Gods and Monsters, that Ubisoft game, which looks like it was a Breath of the Wild clone. Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, I don't think we'll see this year. Breath of the Wild 2, Bayonetta 3, even Overwatch 2, which I'm a little bit excited about. I don't think it'll make this year, especially with the update that it's going to receive on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Paper Mario, we'll once see a Super Mario Golf. I want the Super Mario Golf game. Perfect for a kind of summer knock around with the boys online. Nothing. Yeah. I think Capcom will let us down.
Really? You think Capcom will let us down?
Yeah.
Because they've been doing really well recently.
Recently, yes, and that's it. I don't think we'll see anything much from them for the rest of the year.
Well, actually, yeah, they've been very good on other consoles, but not so good on the Switch. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, possibly.
EA obviously have got Burnout. We'll see another FIFA game, and that's them done. Games I want: Rare Replay, that won't be coming. No F1 game, no Call of Duty to satiate an online shooter. So as I was making this list, I was disappointing myself. I hope I haven't disappointed you, Nick. You seem a little bit more optimistic at this moment. I can't wait for E3 to prove me wrong.
We'll see. I wouldn't count on it. I don't. I think realistically, your expectations are probably closer to reality than mine. I often do this. I often let myself get a little bit too hyped up and think, oh, that could come, and not really thinking about it. But to be honest, I've got 120 games on my Switch now. I've got plenty to play. There's some stuff I'm looking forward to, but I'm not desperate, to jump in right now. I'm feeling very content with my current gaming situation. There's nothing that I'm definitely not feeling like Greg, where there's nothing to play, because I've got a lot of stuff that I could play, but I don't really want to, which is why I'm just, grinding away on Animal Crossing. But, the choice is there. And I think for the year, it's certainly going to be better than last year. Because I spoke about that. We spoke about that in the topic of in the Game of the Year episode, that me and Greg hadn't really played anything. I've bought a lot of those games now from last year, so I've got a nice healthy backlog of games from last year. And then obviously, the stuff that we know is coming. There's a few indie games I'm excited about. And then obviously like Bayonetta, No More Heroes. If they come, great. If not, I'm happy to wait a bit longer for them. No rush for me.
Yeah, I suppose my disgust is slightly misplaced. There's a lot to look forward to. Doom Eternal, especially whenever that drops, and Sports Story. Just those two could keep me going for a long time. But my backlog, like I said, it's at its lowest for quite some time, but it's still 56 games. Wow. It's 56 games large. So I'm slowly working my way through that, and I'm loving going back to those old indie games. My next one is obviously going to be Ori and the Blind Forest. I'll work my way through that, and we'll see what, whenever I finish a game, I start a new game and try and really focus on it until it's done. So if that's the rest of my year, I'm still a happy man. And we hope you are all having a wonderful 2020 as well. Let's have the games you want. If you have any games that we haven't mentioned you think are coming out, get onto the N-E Café thread at the N Europe forums and drop us a line. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.